Hello, everyone, and welcome back to It's Always Sunny in South Philadelphia. I am your host, Riley Rich, and today we will be doing episode number 11 of Season 2. Here we're going to talk about the Phillies' last 3 weeks. Now, the reason why that is the case is because I've been running around all summer. Like I said last time, I don't really have a schedule for these. I kind of just do these episodes in the summer when I have time, like right now. So I had like an online class I was doing, and I had a family vacation and stuff. So that's why I've been gone for 3 weeks, and that's why you haven't heard my voice for the last 3 weeks. But today's episode, we're going to talk about the last 3 weeks. That would be the road trip in Texas and San Diego, the series, and then of course, the Brave series, the National series, and both Cardinal series. Now, I know that the Phillies are still in St. Louis. This should come out on Monday. So they're still in St. Louis. They still have a game to play on Monday. We're just going to completely disregard that and just move on because we're already talking about the Cardinals. And before we begin, yes, you might be noticing, yes, this is new right here. Newest edition of merch. If you want to go buy this, go to bonfire.com/store/issp.merch. Link is in the description, just like all of the rest where you can find this podcast. So, without further ado, let's begin with a very depressing series in Arlington, Texas. The Phillies visit the new stadium there in Globe Life Field, and their offense proceeded to completely shut down yet again. I mean, the theme here is that Kyle Schwarber carries the offense through multiple terrible outings, but, I mean, just looking at it, again, I'm just going to go back to what I've been saying in April. 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position on Tuesday, the 22nd. 0 for 3 with 8 strikeouts the following, 0 for 9 on June 21st, 0 for 3 with 8 strikeouts on June 22nd. Like, it's the same thing that we've been saying the whole time. Kyle Schwarber with the home run. But Familia really had a bad outing on the first game. Zach Wheeler kind of let the pedal off the gas tank, and I can't speak. You know what I mean? He kind of took his foot off the gas a bit. He didn't really have his strongest outing in June. Strongest outing against the Rangers. Texas got to him. But I do have to say, one of the nice things about this series is that it showed us that the bullpen can be competent. And that's something that we've seen all 3 weeks. Just to put an example, June 22nd, second game in Texas. It was Andrew Bellotti, Connor Brogdon, Jose Alvarado, and Corey Knebel. Now, last time we talked about having a closer by committee and what that is doing to the Phillies, but overall, Knebel has definitely gotten stronger since that time. He actually was able to get a save against the Cardinals, which we'll talk about later. But it's nice to see that it's like I've been saying before, the bullpen is strong when it wants to be. It's good when it wants to be. I mean, there's nothing really that you can do to add to it because it's just going to be the same thing. It's just going to shut down at some times, mostly times when we need the bullpen. But other times, it's going to pick itself right back up and lead us to one of our best stretches over the last few years and getting us some crucial wins. But yeah, so the 2-game sweep of the Rangers was not fun. The Phillies finished the season series against Texas 0-4. And this long pause of silence is exactly what you deserve. I was saying at the time that the series against Texas was really my final exam for Rob Thompson, in that I wanted to see how different he was than Joe Girardi. Obviously, getting swept by the Rangers was not fun under Girardi, or it was worse under Girardi. But at least for Rob Thompson, he had the bullpen working. He knows how to speak to his players. He knows how to pick the offense back up. I mean, I guess Girardi also had these inconsistent stretches, but Thompson has been able to keep that to a minimum. He also found found a way for the bullpen to operate. So I might have been a bit harsher on Rob Thompson than I should have been. And that was only because after Texas, it was the San Diego Padres. And the Padres entered in the series against us with one of the best records in the NL. They were fighting for first place against the Dodgers, a very hard thing to do. Manny Machado was looking like an MVP candidate. I mean, we still don't have Tatis, but the Padres are still consistently a good team. And when the Phillies visited San Diego, it started the stretch of what I called long ball dominance, or it's basically what the name implies, where all of our offense comes in the form of home runs. Kyle Schwarber led the charge. He actually hit an outside pitch. I was shocked that not only did he hit an outside pitch, but he hit it so far out of the zone as in the right-handed batter's box, and he was able to hook it down the left field line. That was one of the most impressive things that I've seen from Schwarber in a very long time, and he has definitely shredded all of my criticism. So thank you for that, Kyle. Ranger Suarez and Aaron Nola with very strong outings. I know Ranger hasn't had the start to the season that he wanted. I mean, obviously he had a bit of time where he needed to catch up on his pitch count. He had to keep his pitch count low because of the visa troubles that limited his spring training. And Aaron Nola has been very strong this year. I mean, just missed an All-Star appearance. I mean, when I saw the headline that Aaron Nola is an All-Star snub, that's when you know things are good for Nola. I'm sorry, buddy. I know that you think you're an All-Star. You'll get there one day. But again, the bullpen was very strong. One game was Andrew Bellotti, Corey Knebel, Brad Hand, and Sir Anthony Dominguez. Nick Nelson pitched 3 1/3 innings. There is no one else like Nick Nelson anymore. He's not... I wouldn't say that he was never a starter. You see long relief guys that transform from a starter to a bullpen guy, and they can go multiple innings. I'm thinking Drew Pomeranz from the mid 2010s. Red Sox fans out there, Tanner Houck has that potential. I know you guys are using him as a closer because your bullpen is completely terrible. But yes, I can say that now because our bullpen's good now. But Tanner Houck really has the potential. He could go that long. Nick Nelson was never a starter. He was just always a reliever, and he just consistently pitches deep into outings. He's able to go 3 1/3 innings, which is unbelievable. And then Knebel, Jose Alvarado, and Andrew Bellotti also picked up the slack. That was when Christopher Sanchez started and gave us 2 2/3. Again, we're really starting to see more of the bullpen game, and it actually has been working. It's been working a lot now that our bullpen's good, so that is definitely something to keep an eye out for. Then we reach a very crucial series at home. We're finally home, and we're taking on the Atlanta Braves. Now, the Phillies are one of the hottest teams in June. They were one of the hottest teams in June, but there was maybe one team that was better than Phillies in June, as I've lost my articulation for the second time in this video. And that was the Atlanta Braves. The Braves have been rolling right along. They got Acuna back. Somehow they've transformed William Contreras into an all-star, so now the Contreras brothers are playing together. Marcell Ozuna is back. He's splitting the DH role. Michael Harris is a rookie center fielder, and he's hitting home runs. Very interesting to see the Atlanta Braves get hot. And if the Braves can do well, I mean, I'm hoping that Lowell Mets can come around again and that the Mets can miss the playoffs. That would be amazing. But the difference between the Atlanta Braves and the Philadelphia Phillies, especially in that series, was that the Braves are consistent. They are very consistent. They can win against good teams. They crush the bad teams. Atlanta is the perfect team to lead a division. The Phillies need to if they want to make the playoffs and make a name for themselves, they need to take that next step up. They need to stop losing to the D-backs and Orioles and Pirates. I know that was from last year. I know that Rob Thompson hasn't had a chance to prove himself. But my point being is that the Braves wouldn't just beat the Rangers in the season series. They'd probably dominate them and win by 7 runs in 2 or 3 of those games. But, yeah, the Braves were super consistent. I mean, Matt Olson chimed in with multiple doubles, and the Phillies were just completely stifled. They went 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position in the first game of the series. They only had 4 hits, and to add insult to injury, they were 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position on the second game on the 29th. The only game that was the exception was June 30th. I mean, at this point, the Braves took the series. They are rolling right along. They've established themselves as second place in the division. And then came this man right here. I mean, very lucky enough to have this one. I'm just going to have to slide everything over. This is how we take up time. This is Derek Hall, or from now on, it will be Long Ball Hall. And Derek found a way to... I'm just going to leave it there. Derek found a way to hit home runs in a large amount. He hit 2 home runs in his second game. In his second game. I mean, of course, one of them was against a position player, but who's keeping score? Then they played at home against the Cardinals. We'll get to that series later because I decided just to combine the 2 Cardinal series, especially because it's the most important. Speaking of the Cardinals and the Braves, they played each other when the Phillies played the Nationals. So, I gotta be honest, I wasn't even paying attention to the Phillies-Nat series because all my attention went to the Braves and Cardinals. It got to a point where the Braves are surging. The Braves are surging right now. They're looking like a contender. They're looking like they're running away with the second wild card spot. So the battle really comes down to the third spot. I mean, the first is probably going to be either the Dodgers or Padres. Whoever loses that, probably the Padres, unless they collapse again. The Padres are looking like a wild card contender the first half of the year. The Braves are looking like a wild card contender through half of the year. And the third spot is a battle between the Phillies and the Cardinals. The Phillies had an easy series against the last place Nats, and the Braves took care of business against the Cardinals, showing why they're a wild card team and showing why interdependence is a thing in the NL East. Now, the Phillies had an amazing series against the Nationals. I mean, it wasn't fun seeing them lose, but it happens every now and again. They won 8 of 10 against the Nationals so far this year. And there are just 2 words that I have to say about it. Kyle Schwarber. That is all I have to say. 4 home runs in the first 2 games. He's hitting them to dead center. There's that iconic picture of Victor Robles bent over the center field wall trying to get the ball. I honestly had no idea what he was doing. He was not going to get that baseball. Again, Derek Hall still hitting home runs. And the thing that amazed me the most about this series was the ability to have success in bullpen games. Now, Christopher Sanchez has been starting a few bullpen games. Bailey Falter has been starting a few bullpen games. But it still is really nice to see the bullpen actually work for once. We are not getting shelled for 10 runs in these bullpen games, but it's basically everybody in the bullpen I can credit success to. Corey Knebel hasn't really took a bit of time off from those ninth inning situations. He was able to find his stuff. He was able to pitch really well. So Jose Alvarado, for whatever reason, was sent down to AAA a few weeks ago. He came back. He had a very solid outing. Andrew Bellotti has been a player that we've been able to rely on whenever we need him. 7th, 8th, 9th. He actually got a save at one point. Brad Hand took most of the saves while Knebel was out. He did really well in those scenarios. Sir Anthony Dominguez being a force in the 8th inning. I'm going to say it again. Nick Nelson somehow magically being able to pitch multiple innings. All of these guys, I mean, I know Norwood's gone, but imagine this bullpen with Sam Coonrod, with JoJo Romero. Imagine having those guys along with the rest of this. Having a Coonrod, the 2021 Coonrod added into this bullpen, it's seriously one that could contend to take a wild card spot. And now for definitely one of my favorite series is this year. Actually, set of series. There are technically two of them. The Phillies took on the Cardinals. Now, this is very important, again, because head-to-head, I don't know if they're playing each other again after this. I don't think they are. Thankfully, the Phillies have taken the season series, so that will come very crucial when it comes down to September and before the collapse, when the Phillies have hope of making a wild card spot. But it's really refreshing to see someone else's offense completely shut down except for one game. I mean, seeing the Cardinals getting shut out multiple times is very fun to see. Again, like I'm saying, I'm combining things from both the series in Philadelphia and the current series in St. Louis. So Zach Wheeler pitched in 2 games against St. Louis and put up 7 shutout innings in both. And Kyle Gibson also put up like 7 innings on 2 hits as well. The only 2 losses that came so far, unless they lose today, which I really don't think they do, was giving up 4 straight home runs against Gibson. Here's the thing, though. It was nothing. Those pitches weren't Gibson's fault. I mean, I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve any blame. I think he does a little bit for a few of the pitches. But if you look back, I believe it's the first and the third home runs. I believe it was Nolan Arenado and Juan Yepez, whatever. They both hit low, well-executed sliders. Like, as good as you can have it. Low, outside corner. Started on the middle part of the zone. Went outside. Didn't really catch that much of a plate. But the Cardinals were lunging. They were lunging to hit the ball. And because of the dimensions of Citizens Bank Park, it was able to sneak out. That's when the hitter-friendly ballpark kind of bites you in the butt a bit there. I mean, it's not really fun. And they almost blew that game, too. The Phillies came all the way back. They made it 7-6. They made it interesting. I mean, same thing. And then the other loss they had was this past Sunday. It was actually the day before. You guys are seeing this. It was a minor bullpen collapse. It was just like a series of runs. It wasn't even really the bullpen's fault, per se. It was just that the Cardinals got a few strings of runs. Now, it's not fun seeing the Phillies offense get shut down. But if those are the only 2 losses you have, then it looks really good all throughout. And yet again, Aaron Nola's getting the start tonight. They got to Adam Wainwright on Sunday Night Baseball. They were able to shut them out. And it looks really well. Again, this is going to look really nice on the resume when September comes around and these 2 teams are fighting for a wild card spot. It gives the Phillies a bit of breathing room. Now, I'm also not saying don't count out the Giants either. The Giants are probably going to try to make a run and try to sneak from behind. But with the way this team has been rolling with the bullpen being where it is, I really think that this team could go somewhere. So, we have reached the end of the Phillies part again. So there's a game tonight at St. Louis. We're not going to talk about it next week. 2-game series at Toronto. This is very interesting because most of the Phillies rotation is not vaccinated. Zach Wheeler is vaccinated, so he will be pitching on Wednesday. I don't know if they announced a pitcher for Tuesday yet. But Kyle Gibson is not vaccinated. I think he was supposed to start Tuesday's game, so that's why they have to shuffle things around. And I'll be able to see him in Miami, so I will be going to Miami. And actually, that segues into what I was going to say before. So next week, for the podcast, it's going to look a bit different. For those who listen on Spotify, Google, Apple, for those basically who treat this like a podcast, you guys are actually going to get like a legit podcast episode. Like if you guys are from season 1 and remember those transitions, oh yeah, we're going back to those. We're going back to the old times, just me and you, buddy. And then for YouTube, I'm going to try to vlog, and it's going to be absolutely terrible and absolutely fun. So, again, links are in the description for wherever you watch, so I highly recommend that you watch both of those. On social media, so I'll try to post on social media too when those things are being released. I'm not going to cover minor league baseball that much. If you give me 1 second as I look back here and find these. These two guys right here, Eric Miller and Logan O'Hoppe, these two are selected for the All-Star Futures game. This will be at Dodger Stadium on Sunday of All-Star Weekend. So if you guys want to see some Phillies prospects in action, definitely watch that. I don't know if O'Hoppe's going to get that much action. I don't know if either of those guys are going to get that much action. I think I saw for the NL Futures, as I lost my articulation for the third time. Henry Davis from the Pirates, the number 1 overall pick. Francisco Alvarez from the Mets, who I believe is like the real number 1 prospect now, like not that hasn't played in the major leagues yet. And Diego Amaya, the catcher for the Dodgers, they are all on the roster, so I don't know how much time O'Hoppe's going to get. Same thing for Eric Miller. There's a ton of good pitchers from the NL, so we'll see how much action Eric Miller gets. I'm really surprised that they didn't put in Andrew Painter. I don't know if it's a thing that they want to see more like AA guys or whatever. But, yeah, Andrew Painter didn't make it. I'm assuming he's going to make it next year. That's what I would assume. But if he doesn't, then at least I have something to scream about. And then I was just going to say for minor leagues, I'm not going to go too deep into it. It's Lehigh Valley contending for first place, and that's really all we care about. Also, one last thing to note before I get to the Philly of the week is that I will be doing an MLB Draft Special. I believe it will come out tomorrow. I'm not sure. Some point between tomorrow and Sunday, you will be getting an MLB Draft video. I'm basically looking at the first 3 rounds, and I picked like 3 different people to pick for each of the 3 rounds. So that will be a ton of fun. I was going to try to fit it into this episode, but I mean, it would just take way too long, and there are too many routes that the Phillies could go, and the MLB Draft is so unpredictable that I'd like to save all that fun for a different time. And now it is time to get to the player of the week. I couldn't really pick anybody from the bullpen, and you are not getting that from me. This sad, pathetic person belongs to Kyle Schwarber, the NL Player of the Month for June. This is the 2nd straight year that he won NL Player of the Month in June. He is up to 28 home runs currently, I think, and he is leading the National League in home runs. He was able to make it to the All-Star team as a reserve, so it's so nice to see him. So he will be joining Harper in the All-Star game, so we actually have a Philly that's going. I mean, I'm really sad to see Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler not make it, but it does make a little bit of sense. So thank you guys so much for watching. Again, go follow and subscribe to wherever you listen to. And I will see you guys later for the MLB Draft. And remember, no matter if we lose the season series to the Texas Rangers, no matter if the offense completely shuts down, no matter if the bullpen collapses again, just remember, it's always sunny in South Philadelphia. Take care, everybody.